BOI talk. And right now, as we know, the tensions of the Middle East have escalated following recent military developments involving the United States and Israel, and also Iran, where the situation has raised concerns not only about regional stability, but also about global economic impacts and the safety of foreign nationals in the affected areas, including Indonesia citizens in Iran. Today, we will explore two key dimensions: the situation on the ground and Indonesia's efforts to protect its citizens, as well as broader geopolitical implications of the escalations. Joining with me right now, we are going to talk about the topic with the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Indonesia to Iran and Turkmenistan, Rolian Shah, Roy Somirat, and Middle East analyst Faisal Assegaf. Thank you for joining me in today's special episode of VOI Talk, Pak Roy and Pak Faisal.
You're welcome. Kabar Pak Roy?
Okay, so without any further ado, thank you for joining me right now. And first, I would like to ask you, Pak Roy, maybe, can you describe the situation in Tehran right now, as we know that the recent attacks have been quite heavy for Iran itself, and maybe the situation and conditions of you, yourself, and also the citizens of Iran and Indonesia citizens that are currently in Iran, Pak Roy?
Okay, correct. Maybe I have to start by emphasizing that today is the third day after the first attack conducted by Israel and America towards Iran on the morning of Saturday. So the situation is still very different. Although today, even starting tomorrow, the situation is practically very calm, especially in Tehran. I don't have the liberty and luxury to observe directly the situation outside Tehran, but at least in the conditions in Tehran itself now is practically a very quiet city and very calm city. But it's to the fact that the government has already imposed, or not imposed, has already announced that there will be a 7 days holiday followed by 40 days mourning days for the demise or passing away of the suffering Iran. So therefore, the activities in the city of Tehran is not normal due to the many people also not convinced the activities are regular. While at the same time, almost 3 days, the series of attacks are still being conducted, are still being held, although with different magnitude. Sometimes the attack is quite heavy, big numbers of missiles coming, or sometimes it's only short type, very number of explosions.
Okay, so is there still reports of military activity currently active in the escalation near the diplomatic embassy areas right now where you are at, Pak Roy?
Maybe I also have to mention that our observation is that all those attacks that has already been taken by Israel and America to area of Iran, especially Tehran, can be considered as a very well targeted attack, and therefore our observations and our preliminary conclusions is that the attack is directed towards certain strategic places, either building or area that considered important to the government of Iran. And fortunately, our embassy, the Indonesian embassy, is not surrounded by those kind of strategical places. And the most important part for me is checking the conditions of our citizens. And of course, we cannot get too much detail whether our citizens living nearby dangerous places or not. But as far as we can gather the information, and I still have the luxury to communicate with them through several channels of communications. Our citizens mentioned that they are still in a safe and secure condition. They are, most of them even do not see or feel the direct attack in their surrounding area.
Okay, thank God that currently the Indonesian embassy is also is safe from the current attack that are happening in Iran. So, next question I would like to ask Pak Asegaf. So, from your perspective, how significant is the latest escalation within the broader geopolitical landscape of the Middle East since it is getting quite hot these days?
First, I want to insist this is the blatant violation of the international law committed by the U.S. and also Israel for many times by launch aggression against Iran as a sovereign country. About the escalation, this is already there are escalation. There is an escalation in this war because because Iran continue to launch attacks on the U.S. military bases in Gulf neighboring countries, in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, and also in United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, and also Oman. Not only launch attacks against the military targets, but also Iran attacks pillars of economy of Gulf countries. As we know, some airport, Dubai also, and then Kuwait airport, and then Zayed airport in Abu Dhabi, also attacked by Iran. And this is caused suspension of flights, suspension of tourists for Dubai. Dubai is a tourist destination, so this is already suspended because of the Iran attacks. And also there is an escalation we can see by the involvement of Hezbollah. Last night, Hezbollah launched attack with 8 rockets and also drones, if I'm not mistaken. And also, from the first day of war, Houthi from Yemen already declared they will be side by side with Iran to face aggression from the U.S. and also Iran.
Okay, so is this primarily linked to nuclear concerns, or are there wider regional calculations that are at play right now? Basagaf.
Yeah, nuclear is always accused, is always issued, as a pretext by the U.S. and also Israel. But if we know, until this time, the verdict from the late Imam Khomeini, the leader of the Islamic Revolution of Iran, he bans for Iran to produce mass destruction weapon, including biological weapon, chemical weapon, and also nuclear weapons. Until now, the verdict has not been removed by the late Supreme Leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, already killed last Saturday. And the second, why Trump always lie about the the nuclear issue of Iran, because Iran is a member of NPT. So Iran, there is a good gesture and good motive. They give permission for the IEA inspection team to come to Iran during this war, during many times, I think. But nuclear issue always be exploited by the U.S. and Israel. The important why the exactly issue why the U.S. and also Israel launch aggression against Iran is because Iran is the only power in the Middle East who bravely resists any U.S. and Israel scenario on the in this region. So for Trump and Netanyahu, that's why they always, from the first day of their military campaign, they call for Iranian people to go down to the street, go to the streets, and to continue demonstration until the mullah regime can be removed. That's their intention. But until now, it's very difficult for the U.S. and also Israel to topple the mullah regime, because we already saw from the last month anti-regime demonstration in Iran, that's very small if we compare with the pro-regime in Iran. Only a few thousands, thousands of demonstrators who come to the street and anti-regime. But for the pro-regime demonstrators, there are about 3 million. Because this effort is failed, the one factor or one way can be done by U.S. and Israel. It's also impossible. They have to, in fact, to deploy troops on the soil of Iran, but this is impossible because we know Iran is the longest. I think the longest country in the Middle East who already have experience for long war with Iraq for 8 years, from 1980 until 1988. And we know Israel only have the longest war, just new, with Hamas from October 7 until October 2023 until October 2025. I think this mullah regime still can survive from this military campaign from the U.S. and also from joint U.S. and Israel military campaign.
Okay, now, Pak Roy, wanted to ask, so how might Iran's leadership changes affect domestic stability and foreign policy direction in Iran itself and maybe to Indonesia? Pak Roy.
Yeah, that's a good question. But actually, I have to mention that I don't have the liberty, luxury, or even a mandate to have some kind of discussions, more analytical or academical discussions, because maybe that's not really in my mandate, because my mandate actually is only to improve and enhance the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Iran. But of course, we know that now Iran is entering the difficult period when there is a direct attack from other countries that directly affect the overall situation in Iran, including the currently ongoing succession process due to the passing away of the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, that just been confirmed yesterday morning. So again, I can only explain something that's more factual in nature. So for example, as far as we know, and it's informed formally from the government of Iran, that they are still in the process of determining the next supreme leader. There are process towards that particular direction. There is no a deadline. And in the meantime, temporarily speaking, the role of the supreme leader will be taken by the troika, by the three figure inside the governmental different figure. There will be three persons taking over the leadership for the time being until the new Ayatollah elected. We don't know when. So that's the factual thing that we know. And of course, we also observe whether the current situation will also trigger another dynamics internally in Iran itself, because we know that practically Iran is a very big country with the big populations. So maybe different Iranians will have different views on the current situation. Again, for Indonesia, we are not in the business of interfering with other countries' situations. For the Iran, it's going to be depending on the Iranian themselves, determining their future, including what will be next after the revival. So we can only observe and also make ourselves available if Iran government mentioned that they some kind of any support from Indonesia government people.
Okay, now, Pak Roy, I want to ask you again, what contingency measures has the Indonesian embassy activated to ensure that the safety of the Indonesian and Iran? Have there any specific evacuation scenarios or designated safe location been prepared in the case of the situation becomes worse?
Of course, we have so many plans in our hands, but I will also encourage public audience in order not to jumping into the discussions of evacuations, because evacuations is something that will be taken by the government Indonesia, in this regard by the central government Jakarta, after considering various aspects, not only connected with safety and security, but also other aspects, including the dynamics in the region of the country itself. So particularly, we always mention that the decision of the possibility of evacuating a citizen will only be conducted after thorough and comprehensive discussions and considerations. And in this regard, I was consulting a capital that contacting the Prime Minister team and giving the latest assessment with regard to the situations in Iran, especially issue of safety and security. At the same time, of course, the embassy is trying our best to always reaching out to the Indonesian citizen, not only in the city of Tehran, but also in different city of Iran. Of course, now we have some kind of problem in the communications format platform, but fortunately, at least internally in Iran, we still can manage to use our local platform for communication, just like Iranian version of WhatsApp, or even the local telephone are still working. So at least we can reach, and also the embassy can be reachable by citizens. Although maybe internationally speaking, some kind of problem for communication, internet. So my concentration now is only reaching out to the citizen in various cities and always getting the latest information with regard to the safety and security.
Okay, so next I want to ask Pak Asegaf again. In terms of the broader impact of the conflict with the United States and Israel and also Iran, what are the primary global concerns that we should monitor? Pak Asegaf.
First about with the global crude oil price today already, as far as I know, already increased by $8. $8.
That's quite high.
And then what we global concern is this war can be expanded if first there are two scenarios. If US and Israel continue to take Iran, because Iran, they have a legitimate right to defend themselves and also to launch revenge attacks. That's already done and continued done by Iran until today, until now. And the second, if Iran feel they are not, they feel it's not enough for them for revenge attack, because until now there is no senior military or civilian officials from US and Israel being killed by revenge attacks committed by Iran. That's the global concern. And also this war, if expand to, in term of scale and also in terms of involvement from other countries in this world. This can make, for I mean, for the Muslim especially, we know this is will near Hajj season. So if the war continue and expand, because we know there are many airlines already cancel their flights to Middle East or out from Middle East. So this is will be the global concern, especially for Muslim, because we know it's near about 3 months to the Hajj season, because this impact can be, can be felt for maybe for long times. As we know, for the tourists in Dubai now, during this time, for a long time, Dubai is a safe for tourist destination. But today we see all Dubai empty. Dubai authorities force tourists to live on the basement shelter. This is can be, negative negative image for Dubai, because Dubai is not now it's not safe. And also for something like Abu Dhabi, we never heard there is attacks against Abu Dhabi. But today, during the Iran, US and Israel wars, there is a attack against Zayed Port, and also airport, and also the US military base in Abu Dhabi also, and also against the according to Iran, the Israeli embassy on the high-rise building that's already attacked by Iranian drone, Shahid 136.
Okay, Pak Asagaf, how might this situation affect energy prices, gold markets, financial markets, and overall economic stability, since during this situation it might affect globally?
Yeah, globally, the first is about the crude oil. Yeah, we know until today there are 4 oil tankers already attacked in the, near the Strait of Hormuz, and also I forgot the 2 what location, but in the Middle East, water. That's the biggest impact we will see, because Iran already warned they will close Strait of Hormuz if US and Israel continue to attack their country. And also this will be become viral effect, because oil still become the most important energy for in the world. So this will be become viral effect for any sectors, for transportation, for services, and also for price of many things.
Okay, so for the final question, I would like to ask Pak Roy, what message would you like to convey to Indonesian citizens currently in Iran, and maybe what message would you like to share to the Indonesian audience about the situation that are currently happening right now?
Thank you. First, I would like to address my fellow citizens that area for hopefully they continue monitoring this conversation, aside from our usual conversation, different platforms, but again, constantly remind them the necessity to take any measures that can be done, at least the small thing, but very meaningful, in order to avoid them from any possible danger. Small thing, but very important, like avoiding crowds, avoiding going outside home if it's not that necessary, particularly since now the situation is very fluid, or even the necessity to following the regulations and also the suggestions from the local governance if there is a need to go certain sector place if there is some kind of down from the government. And of course, at the same time, I always also repeatedly mentions to our fellow students, colleagues, that we are going to fully respect and opening for their own assessment, because they are the one who knows the real situation on the ground in their own respective places. So I cannot assume that I know better. So it means for me, as long as they consider themselves in a very secure situations, of course they can consider daily activities. At the same time, we in the embassy also opening ourselves. Should there be any necessity for those who would like to seek refuge or to find a more secure place, Iran, especially in Tehran. And lastly, for the citizens abroad, of course, we need support also, including supporting any decisions taken from the government, because any policy, any decisions that is taken by the government, including connected to the safety and security of citizens abroad, is already conducted in a very comprehensive considerations, and it is the best decisions that is going to be made, at least for that particular moment.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Roy and Pak Sega, for your time and sharing your insights in this interview right now. And voice listener, the situation in the Middle East, particularly concerning Iran, continues to involve and remain highly complex. And with the implication that might extend beyond the region. Amid the ongoing geopolitical developments, and the safety and well-being of the civilians must be a top priority, just like what Pak Roy mentioned before. And while the dialogue and diplomacy continues to play a crucial role in preventing further escalation. And thank you so much for the honored guests for your time and sharing your insights with us. And thank you, voice listeners, for watching in VOI Talk. And we will continue to inform you the latest updates within the current situation in the next episodes, and also time in Voice of Indonesia. So stay tuned with us in Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Indonesia. VOA. Voice of Indonesia, the overseas